Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live event. My name is Sharon Davison. I have the pleasure of being a kindergarten teacher in Vermont. I am also an online facilitator for the NEA Professional Practice Communities, which is a wonderful platform if you are interested in connecting with other educators, parents, parapros, anyone who is interested in helping make a difference for education. The platform is free. All you have to do is join. You don't need to be a member of the NEA. There are over 150 different groups to choose from. So all you have to do is to go to mynea.org and join. And I hope you do and consider it. Thank you. So today I'm so excited. I have the pleasure of introducing a phenomenal educator. His name is Terry Shay. He is a very talented and creative K through 12 music teacher in Iowa. He is also an ambassador for Fable Vision. TJ believes in creativity and helping children make their mark. And I'm so excited. So today, TJ is going to be sharing his passion for innovation and creativity with us. Hey, TJ.
Good afternoon. It's so nice to be here.
Oh, thank you again for being here. Hey, TJ, is there anything that you want to share with us before we get started on your awesome slides that you put together?
I would just like to say thank you to everyone who has already participated in Day, and this year is going to be the biggest one yet. And that happened because there are brilliant people around the world who keep sharing and doing events like this and bringing new people along on this great journey. So I'd like to start by just thanking everyone who's already participated, and then let's talk about how we'll get more people involved.
Awesome. All right, let's go.
Okay, I'm new to this, so
that's okay, Terry.
We're gonna try.
Yeah, so hit screen share. If not, if it's easier, would you like me to go ahead and click on the slides, and that way you can talk through?
Sure, we could do that.
All right, I'm so happy to do that. Hang on. All right, how's that?
Awesome.
All right.
Well, as you have heard, I believe in the power of creativity. And it's one of the things that kind of keeps me going, and as a teacher and as a person. Truly, strongly believe that creativity can solve many, many problems. In around 2005, I became aware of Peter Reynolds, and he and I share this same love of creativity. And it's always good to find people who share the things that you believe in. Could we make this like the present, in the present mode, Sharon?
Yes, I just did. It didn't come up that way?
It doesn't for me.
Oh, hang on. Let me try that again. Hang on. I'll go out and hang on. I think what happens is when I'm turning it, when I go into present, it doesn't come all the way up.
Okay.
And well, I don't.
We'll work with whatever it does.
All right. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to fix that. But you're doing great.
Okay. One slide before that, please. I believe everyone is creative. And I've had people who have sort of questioned that, who think that maybe, well, they'll say, I'm not creative. And I like to find ways to show them just how creative they are. And some people write beautifully and write about books that they love. and that's a way to be creative. And making videos is a way to be creative. So I think the problem with people who think they're not creative is truly that their definition is too limited. So I really believe everyone is creative. To that end, in 2009, I sent a Facebook message to Peter Reynolds. We had been friends for a little while, and I said, hey, let's have a day where kids are just creating. And so we talked about it a little bit, and it became International Dot Day. And one of the things that I've taken from this message is that you need to tell your ideas and your dreams to someone who's going to pour gas on it. And that's what Peter did. And it really has been an amazing journey since that first Facebook message to, in 2009, I sent out a tweet that said, September 15th is the dot day, read the book, and then have kids create dots. So from that one message, it started. And in 2009, the first group I had was fourth grade. And in fourth grade, what we did was throw down papers, make marks, make dots. We also did it. I also did it with my high school chorus. And if you're wondering, high school kids really enjoy doing fun things like making dots with paint and markers and things that are messy and fun. So that's how it started. The picture that's up right there right now was actually my junior high chorus, and we made a human dot. And it was pretty fun. So that first year, there were just some people who saw it on Twitter and Facebook, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And then a couple of months later, I saw the Dot Project, which was Richard Colosi did, and he had kindergartners make dots. And to be honest, it was one of those moments like I thought this was just 10 of my friends, making dots, and I was finding out that it really had traveled around, and there were a lot of people who were inspired by the story. Then in 2011, two librarians, John Shoemaker and Shannon Miller, got together and did an amazing Dot Day event, and they helped spread the news everywhere. I always, whenever I talk about those two and that year, I give them credit because they really launched Dot Day into the stratosphere. It was those two tweeting and celebrating together from a distance. Shannon was in Iowa and John was in Illinois, and they really, really got the message out there about this day. So far that in 2011, I received this picture from West Africa. And that was a pretty eye-opening thing. If you think about, I'm a teacher of a school. Right now we have a little over 500 students, K-12, and this crazy idea, hey, let's make dots, I'm getting pictures from West Africa. So truly an amazing thing. And I don't know anybody in West Africa. So it was people spreading the news, getting that word out there. Also in 2011, a truly momentous thing, I received an email from Sharon Creech. You probably know her as a Newbery Medal winning author, also a wonderful human being. And she and I had corresponded a little bit about the program Animation-ish from Fablevision before this, but on that day she sent me a dot. And I thought how truly amazing that was. First of all, as a generous, kind person, thinking of others, and also I'm sorry, some elementary kids just came by. but also like a brilliant way for people to look at dots. And so I talked to Peter and I said, hey, how would you feel about if we had other people make dots who are famous and awesome? So if you flip the slide, you see the Sharon Creech's dot. The first dot is in the middle there. And I thought it was just really cool. And I also admire her for putting herself out there. She is an author, not an illustrator. So that really fits the theme of Dot Day, to be brave, to put yourself out there, to make your mark. So Sharon's dots were amazing, and she has done one every year. And you see that they get a lot more brave as she goes, which I just love. Then other authors have joined, like Kirby Larson, who is a Newbery Honor winner and also a great person. If you look at the Celebridot site, everyone on there is a great person. Next was, and I should say there are 199 dots right now. So this is just a few. My childhood self saw Julie Andrews and her daughter, Emma Walton Hamilton, as holy cow, I just got an email from, Julie Andrews and Emma Walton Hamilton, and a really cool dot. John Clausen did a dot. The next one is Tia Crater she is the art director at Pixar, and someone connected me with her, Gail Lovely did, and this came in the mail, just an amazing dot. And I just love how all of the Celebridots are very different, very cool. The next one is Tom Engelberger, who writes the Origami Yoda books. As you can see, very creative. The next one after that was Drew Daywalt. And he wrote The Day the Crayons Quit. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know I cheer him on a lot. He visited my school last year, and it was life-changing, an absolute life-changing experience. Amazing human, amazing person, and also amazing talent. After that is Laurel Snyder, also an amazing person. I'll throw in an aside here. If you haven't seen her new book, Swan, pick it up. It is beautiful, stunning, amazing. It's a must-see. The Reynolds, Paul and Peter, helped me connect with Eric Carl, who did a lot of dots, amazing, amazing dots. You might guess that Peter Reynolds has made a couple Celebridots, and there are more on the site. The next one, when I showed my own students, they were like, oh yeah, so what? It's a picture of the Earth. And so I had to explain that Mr. Hadfield took the picture from space. He was the commander of the International Space Station. The dot actually went into space with Mr. Hadfield. After that one is Aaron Becker, who wrote the wordless picture book Journey. Lois Lowry is another person who did a dot. The one after that, Catherine Applegate, Newbery Medal winner, also phenomenal person. That's actually Ivan's fingerprint, which was in Mr. John Shoemaker's book. And I thought, what a perfect dot. Kate DiCamillo, you might recognize, is frequently on award lists. And to show really the creativity that's involved, the next dot was made in clay. And Susan made a video of her making the dot, and it's with her dot, and it's an amazing process. And I got lost an entire day watching her make her art. I just watched, there's a bunch of YouTube videos, totally amazing. And so I loved that when I started thinking about Celebridots, I really thought they would be, kind of computer generated or maybe some watercolors. I never dreamed that we would have one in clay. We have one in raspberry juice, one in hair dye. So it really is a model for creativity. If you want to get kids' attention, Jeff Kinney made a dot. And so there are 199 different dots. Actually, when I get home today, there will be 200. I need to put up another one. And it's really an amazing sight of creative, wonderful people. There are some that are sewn in fabric, and it's truly an amazing thing. One of the most meaningful things to me is on the next slide. And I truly think about this often, and the power of the dot to transfer to different cultures and different places. We received these pictures, I believe 2011, of a cancer hospital in Vietnam where kids were celebrating Dot Day. And there had to have been about 30 pictures, and truly took my breath away. It was truly an amazing, every kid looks happy and they're having a great time making dots. And I think that shows the power of creativity and a strong message about the dot. So we were kind of hung up on the fact that it was only 6 continents. So we found a wonderful person who travels to Antarctica, and we sent them the book, and they took some pictures of the book with penguins. Sadly, they had to take the book away from the penguins because they're eating. Okay, so I've been talking a long time. Have there been questions?
Yes, there's a couple of questions, Terry. Hang on, let me unscreen share this so we can see you. So one of the questions that just came up is someone was asking, how do you become a celebrity dot?
Oh, that's a good question. When I started it, my criteria was people that kids would recognize. So there are some people that kids might not immediately recognize. One example would be Carol Hart, who was one of the original writers on Sesame Street. But when they would look at their work, they would know who they were. I felt like the power of that was if the kid could see someone they admired making a dot, that would be something that would mean something to them. I love the dots that we have, truly, and I love the people who made the dots that we have. I would love to branch out, so I'll say it here, to sports figures and actors on television or movies. So we continue the idea that kids see dots from people they would recognize.
Awesome. I think it's really wonderful too, Terry, how you've woven in all these celebrities and highlighting books and things that they've written and created, and then they've taken something from the book and then actually created their dot, or as Peter Reynolds has shared in his work, making their kind of mark. I really like that. I really enjoy Dot Day. I've been doing it for a while now. It's just amazing to me. Every year the kids come up with all these really wonderful ideas on how to be creative. And it's a nice way to explore that. Another question that we had is some people were wondering if you had any suggestions for middle schoolers. What would you do? How would you get middle schoolers involved if you wanted them to be a part of Dot Day?
My middle school has always done Dot Day. The first year I showed you, we made a people dot. I was a little nervous about having middle schoolers and vats of paint around. But since then, we have always done paintings and made dots. There are people who want to put a curricular spin on it, which is great with me. For me, it's all about making art. So one thing I do with my high school and junior high chorus, I buy a blank canvas and I put it on the wall of my classroom. And there's a junior high canvas and a high school canvas. And then on dot day, we decorate that canvas, and then I put it back on the wall after it dries, and it stays for the rest of the year. So this year, I actually was going with a little symbolism, and I took down last year's dot day paintings before the kids got here and put up the blank canvas. So, and I shared the picture on Twitter and Facebook, and it was symbolic. It's a blank canvas. We're starting over. And so next week, I think we're going to do ours a little early. We will decorate those canvases, and they will hang in the room for the rest of the year. And I think it's a great reminder for kids that, oh, we were creative. We did that fun thing. And I did a blog post. I get this question a lot, and I actually, this year it was more focused on high school. How do you get high school kids to want to do this? So I actually reached out to some of my former students and I said, what did you think about celebrating Dot Day? And I did a blog post on it. A couple of their answers made me get teary-eyed, and it really was an amazing thing. And you know, and I have great kids. That's part of it. So I don't think you have to do something wild and crazy. I think just getting back to doing something fun, like getting out watercolors or markers. I have collected over the years on Pinterest what other people have done, and I will share that link somehow with you so that you can share that. And that, I mean, I am not as brilliant as all the people who are celebrating Dot Day. And one of the conversations Peter and I had once was, if everyone did what I did, if everyone, that first year with high school, I really got butcher paper out of the office, and I said, okay, make a dot. If that's what everybody did, I don't know if it would be as huge as it is. I think part of it is that everybody makes it their own and finds ways. I just posted, somebody did a Dot Day symphony in Arizona. The kids put their dots on staff paper and that was hanging, and then they made a symphony of it. So people are really infinitely brilliant.
Whoa, that's awesome. What a wonderful idea. I was thinking about your idea too, Terry. I love that idea of how you just put up canvas. I'm thinking I could just put up paper in my classroom and children could just come in and make their own mark, similar to what you've done. It's such a nice way, I think, to, as you said, value our individual ideas, and then also what a nice way to model collaboration as well. I'm so inspired by what you shared. That's awesome. And then the other question I had, there was two more questions, Terry. One was, do you know anything about the song? There was a song that was written about Connect the Dots. I don't know. Did you have any, were you involved in that?
Emily Dale did a song for Dot Day.
Oh, okay. And is that on the website?
It's yes. I think it's on the Fable Vision Learning website for sure. And I think YouTube.
Okay. So
actually, I just played it so for my students. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then also, I had two other questions. One was, when Dot Day came up, did this idea stem from Peter's book, The Dot?
Yes.
Was that created from that? Okay.
Yes. It was the connecting the dots thing. Let me go back to that. I told you people are more brilliant than me. Matthew Winter.
You're pretty brilliant, TJ. Come on.
He's a librarian. And I think Shannon Miller in the beginning, Andy Plemons have done connecting the dots, and they have had their classes Skype and share their dot creations. So John Shoemaker and Shannon did that the first year they were connected. And they Skyped with each other. Matthew has done sharing dots, so that the kids made dots and they mailed them to some other school, and just so connecting the dots, getting some global education in.
All right, that's awesome. And then the other thing is people were wondering, there have been a few questions here about books that might, if you had any book suggestions for people to read. There were some about elementary and middle school to help help set the tone of thinking creatively with children.
Okay, can we go back to the slides?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's in there. I was
Yeah, hang on. Let me just go in and yeah, we can do that right now. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, and I'm so sorry I can't get this in present mode. I will ask my friend to help me with that. All right. Do you want me just to kind of go through here?
Oh, that was my sort of part of the reason that I wanted to do Dot Day was that schools have become so about testing, and so I made this a little bit snarky graphic, make dots, not bubbles. If you
All
go
right.
to the next slide after that one,
Okay.
when my school went 1-to-1 K-12, each kid made a dot on their tablet, and then we took this big picture where they're holding all the dots. So those are secondary, 7 through 12 kids, and they had a really fun time doing that. 3 slides down, there is, or 4, I guess. Those are pictures from my own school. Here are some picture books to inspire creativity. I was asked by some really awesome friends at the Little Crooked Cottage to guest blog on their site, and I had a really hard time narrowing down the books that I would use. These are some books that I think are really interesting and kind of get kids to think a little bit differently. Of course, Peter's book, The Dot. And since we had a question about middle school and secondary, I'll tell you that the day that we took that picture a couple slides ago, we always show the video of the dot, and it was all of those 7 through 12 kids watching this picture book video and in absolute silence.
Wow.
Absolute silence. So to think that, it's a picture book, kids won't, they really love it. And my kids have an extra relationship with Peter because, he and I have been friends and we've tested out some software here and that kind of thing. But I think the message in the book is really powerful for everyone. So here's some books that I think would be great to, even though they're picture books, or not, even though made them seem lesser than they are, but though they are picture books, Going Places is actually by Paul and Peter Reynolds, and it's kind of a maker book. The Day the Crayons Quit is really, truly all about creativity. Edward Hopper Paints His World. That picture that is on the cover is pretty iconic, and the book talks about how his path to being a famous artist. In Mary's Garden in the bottom left is by the Kuglers, Tina and Carson, and it's about a lady in Wisconsin who would pick up stuff on the beach of the lake, and then she built this interesting house. And so it's kind of a thinks outside the box. Louise Loves Art, awesome book by Kelly Light. The Noisy Paint Box is Kandinsky, who was kind of a dot maker. And Open This Little Book is actually a really cool book, Jesse Klossmeyer, and it's interesting because it's not like a traditional book. The pages actually get smaller. And so I thought that was an interesting way to talk about creativity, just a little differently. Henny is by Elizabeth Rose Stanton, and Henny is a chicken with arms. And so I thought the value in that one is that learn to appreciate what you have and do with what you have. And it's a great book. And so those are some books kind of to get started with.
Oh, those are great. Terry, thank you so much. Those are great titles. Those are great suggestions. So there was one more, more of like a comment um, about why you think creativity in schools is important. Do you want me to go to full screen or leave it on your slides?
No, it's good right there.
Okay.
Actually, let's go one more.
All right.
This is an example of something that happened in my classroom in my high school chorus. I believe that creativity is really important because, first of all, problem solving is so really important, but also because the for some kids it's a way for them to share how smart they are. And if you had me take a test, I might not do so well. But if I could somehow represent my learning in a different way, I might be brilliant. So I use this as an example. This was a student that I actually was gone the day that they did this assignment. I was at a conference. And so when I came back, I was posting the things that they did. One of the things I do in my high school course is I have them draw the meaning of a song. One of the struggles of singing is knowing what you're singing about. So I chose to do this assignment where kids will make art to show that they know what the song is about. The song was actually called Heavenly Road, and it was a student that I did not have a good rapport with, and that's always a little of a struggle for me when that happens because I like to have some kind of a rapport with them. And so I was actually posting these on the wall when I got back, and this one I stopped and I took it back off the wall to look at it. If you look at it, so it's called Heavenly Road. It says your road to success is marked with many tempting parking places. And I just thought that was brilliant. And also there's a parking place for mistakes on the Heavenly Road. And I would not have had this relationship with this student. I wouldn't have. So we had a conversation about it, and I said, that is the most amazing thing I've seen. And she's like, oh, really? And so I think it's a way for kids to show really that they're smart in a different way.
Awesome. So Terry, we are just about out of time. Um, I want to thank you so much for joining me today in doing this on-air event. I've learned so much from you. And I thought, it's interesting. There were a couple of people in the questions who were like, well, how do you meet these people? How do you get to know these people? And it's interesting because I've never had the pleasure of meeting you or Peter or Paul Reynolds, but yet known by their work, you've made an impression. And also we connected on Twitter and then on Facebook, and now I'm learning all about your ideas and how you're presenting and sharing creativity and inspiring in your school. So I think it's great for people just to kind of jump in and take a chance and, reach out to people. Social media is a great way to do that. Terry, is there anything else that you want to add today or share?
I think that is really good.
Okay.
I have met almost everybody on the Celebrity page by following them on Twitter, friending them on Facebook, making connections that way. And it's really, I honestly can say wholeheartedly, the people on that Celebrity site are the most amazing people. And I keep trying to put it in words, but I can't really. If you think about, I'm a unknown person in Iowa in a tiny little school, and I'm writing to them saying, would you make a dot? Which, if you were a little jaded, you might think, you want me to promote someone else's book? But no one thinks that. And so, they're just awesome people. And I love that I've been able to meet those people. And I welcome anybody, if you had a question that you didn't know how to ask or want to ask, comes up later, tweet me and I'd be glad to. It's TJ at TJ Shay, and I'd be glad to answer. Let's get connected. Let's make the world more creative.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, TJ. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. We'll be ending the broadcast and then it will be live. So feel free to share it. And hopefully a lot of you out there will be joining in celebrating International Dot Day. Thank you so much. Thanks, TJ.